Part 91. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 907. As soon as this cunning lady rolled her eyes, Chaoran knew what she was thinking. I heard everything you were thinking just now. You are so cruel, she continued to pretend to be a ghost, her voice was without warmth, and her hands tightened, causing the lady's feet to be twitched several times. I'm sorry, madam was really scared. I swear, I will let you marry into my family, I will make arrangements, and I will find an immortal to help you get married to my son. Otherwise, you will be struck by lightning and you will die. What about Wang Xiaoyu? I bought her life, how about killing her? Then you can rest assured. A poisonous woman is a poisonous woman. When Chaoran heard this, he got angry again. Kill her, she has become the wronged ghost, can she let it go? Kill her and let her snatch my brother Hung, right? Kill her and let your son hug you, and enjoy the blessings of everyone, right? Chaoran's knees pushed hard again, and this time, the vicious woman's wrist also clicked. If you dare to touch her or kill her, I will kill you, your whole family, and your natal family. I will let you taste what it is like to have no descendants. The old witch's whole body was shaking like chaff while begging, whatever I do, I'll listen to you. What a coincidence. Chaoran was about to ask his wife to order her servants to turn around Wang Xiaoyu's sedan chair. A mother-in-law knocked on the door outside, saying that the sedan chair was coming soon. Sent away. Chaoran said quietly. The lady nodded. Help. As soon as Madame felt her throat loosen, she screamed and wanted to ask for help, but as soon as the word came out, Chaoran's throat was stuck again. Chaoran had expected it. A heavy knee fell on the lady's fingers holding the bed. There were a few subtle clicks, and a layer of sweat suddenly appeared on Madame's forehead. Needless to say, her finger bones were broken. Look, how dare she be dishonest. Wang Xiaoyu's finger bones and fingernails were all broken. This witch is already cheap. So 3 seconds later, the lady obediently ordered the outside, let Wang Xiaoyu look back. I regret it. She is not worthy of my hunger. Tell her to get out of here. Chaoran, how can I be so willing to make people turn around like this? What if they come again and make trouble? Am I still not able to be with brother Hung? Give her some benefits. The mother-in-law outside was also confirming the madame's sudden repetition, just let me turn back just like that. Give her 10 taels, no, give her another 30 taels of silver. Let her never come to our door again. Let her get away. Don't show up in front of our family again. No, let her leave our town. Yes. The steps of the mother-in-law walked away. Chaoran heard the jingle. Mission accomplished. Wang Xiaoyu can leave. Not only did he leave alive, but he also got money. Even if she doesn't go back to the home that sold her, she can still live a good life. But Chaoran still wanted to teach this lady a lesson. I wrote my origin on the wall in the backyard. As long as you do what you say and arrange the marriage for me and brother Hung as soon as possible, I promise that I will never come back to you, not even in July. Come back. I will keep you safe with brother Hung. But if you break your promise, I am also a lonely soul, and I will look for you to keep me company from now on. Come to have fun with you every night? After Chaoran finished speaking, he waved his hand and knocked the witch unconscious with a slap. She directly carried the lady on her back and climbed onto the beam, and then laid her directly on the beam. She is not doing harm to anyone. If this lady falls off by herself after waking up, it will be none of her business. She can only rely on her to commit suicide if she does too much injustice. Chaoran would not waste the materials she had prepared with her own hands. With the chicken blood, she drew something on Madame's face, left some graffiti and writing everywhere on the roof, on the window curtains, and also left many dots on the ground. As long as the lady on the rafter opens her eyes, she will be scared to death. As for the identity of the back wall, Taoran had already kept it. If this lady had not been frightened and had not fallen to her death from the beam, she would have discovered that the words Liu Jiazhuang XX Third Lady Qingniang were left on the back wall. This identity is none other than Madame herself. Taoran saw this name and address from the birthday paper of the Taoist priest in the courtyard. Later, when he saw the name on the wreath in the morning hall, they matched it. Haha, if you want to arrange a wife for her son, you might as well arrange one for yourself first. She said that if she didn't arrange the marriage according to that status, she would be struck by lightning and die. She said it herself. Don't scare her to death. Let's see how dare she jump in the future. Taoran smiled and left. Evil people must be punished in evil ways. She engages in crooked ways, and it is only natural that she will be backlashed by the crooked ways. Before leaving, Taoran also used the loudspeaker to send a message. As a result, no one responded to her. It seems that he is ahead of Zhou Chang again. He hasn't reached the 54th floor yet. He didn't fall down, right? Taoran was slightly worried about Huang Mao and the others. How would they pass these tests? Some of them were too outrageous and exciting. She hoped she would never do anything like this again. Taoran went directly to the stairs to the 55th floor. She sat down and calmed down for a while, turned on the screen, chatted a few words with the assistant, and planned to wait for Zhou Chang. She opened the system message and found that the points awarded for the series of levels were quite good, a full 2,000 points. 500 points among them are bonus points for completing the task ahead of schedule. Adding in the nearly 2,000 additional points she received from these levels, her total points now stand at 9,000. Sister, the assistant informed obediently, Sister, I am no longer the highest level assistant. 3 days ago, a player also upgraded the assistant to level 7, and yesterday, he was directly promoted to level 8. Upgraded 2 levels in 3 days. Awesome. It has been a long time since Taoran promoted his assistant to level 7. Only now have I accumulated enough points to upgrade to the next level. I don't plan to upgrade yet. I want to save up some points and upgrade after reaching 10,000 points only by having enough food in hand. Can I not panic? Okay, sister. Taoran also took the no punishment wheel. She was lucky this time and got the pass card. So, her pass card is full. She immediately synthesized a gold card. Good mood. This means that if she encounters another level that makes her sad, she can just skip it. Taoran suddenly remembered something. Didn't I get a 50-level treasure hunt reward before? Why didn't I see that treasure space? She was traveling with Zhou Chang at the time, and she completely forgot about it in her confused mind. This was something she suddenly thought of after she couldn't find her way through the foggy maze in the last 2 levels. Her luck is average, and she finally gets a chance to hunt for treasure. Is it easy for her? Sister, because you did not leave the 50-level illusion normally. You were suddenly woken up by your teammates' loudspeakers and left, so the illusion could not take over the subsequent situation. If you woke up naturally, you would have entered the treasure space as a matter of course. Thank you for the reward from a little fierce baby Bixen Xin. 3. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 908. Taoran was speechless again. So Zhou Chang woke her up, or was he doing something wrong with good intentions? Then my chance is gone. Not really. The opportunities can be accumulated to reach 100 levels of the treasure maze. At that time, you will have 2 treasure hunting opportunities. That's good. But the difficulty of the 100 level illusion may increase. Please be mentally prepared. I got it. It's still early to reach the 100th level. Taoran said this, but in his heart he decided to practice his mental strength. After waiting for half an hour, she didn't see Zhou Chang. She thought that she still had several synthesized world speakers. In line with the principle of not wasting, she simply took out one and threw it out, and typed out a line of text: "Princess Ran Ran has gone to the 55th floor first, waiting for you in front." Well, you know what you know. From now on, she will be called Princess Ran Ran on the World Channel. Tao Ran stood up. Just about to get ready to go to the 55th floor. The news is coming. It came quite quickly. Puff. Someone replied on the message board using the world speaker. The original words are, "The vice captain stopped at level 51, so his pace was slowed down, and now he is still at the miserable level 53. Captain, let's go first, you don't have to wait for me. I'll catch up as soon as possible." Tao Ran understood at a glance that this was a cryptic reply to himself. Isn't the vice captain none other than Zhou Chang? Is this guy still spinning around in level 53? Level 53 is the most terrifying level. Tao Ran had expected Xiao and Huang Mao to be frightened, but he didn't expect Zhou Chang to be tripped there as well. Tao Ran thought for a while, then took a world speaker and sent a message. The captain conveyed to the deputy captain, "Remember, get promoted, make a fortune, kill your wife." 3-1-2. She wanted to give Zhou Chang a hint and tell him that the exit was in the coffin. But she knew that the system would not allow prompts, so she gave them very implicitly. With Zhou Chang's brain, he can 100% understand it. But before she could feel proud, a bolt of lightning struck from the void above the stairs. An electric current swept through her body. Mother! So cruel! Tao Ran fell directly to the ground, convulsing. A head of black hair exploded directly. What, as for what? Is this a lightning strike? The assistant was also unexpected and quickly communicated with the system. 10 seconds later, the assistant was about to burst into tears. "Sister, have you tipped off the news? The game has always emphasized fairness, and you can't cheat after repeated orders. I just said, promote and get rich and your wife will die, so why did I cheat?" Tao Ran said plausibly, and tried to quibble. This section of the tower is originally a folklore category. Not only is it okay for me to say some common sayings, but it should also add points. Sister, your proverb is followed by the number 312, isn't it? You deliberately separated the three actions in this proverb with semicolons, which means you gave the three actions serial numbers, right? You asked the player to press 312 sequence of actions to find a way out. Promotion is 1, getting rich is 2, and dead wife is 3. 312 means that after Wang Xiaoyu dies, the coffin will be raised, and then you can find a way out, get rich and get points, right? You also specifically put quotation marks around the word official for promotion, just to inform others that there is a homophony in it, right? Officer, I am actually talking about the coffin. Tao Ran was speechless. Indeed, that's what it means. She had used her brain to think that she could avoid system scanning and supervision, so she came up with such a common saying. So she had to wonder again, was this really just a system? Is this the judgment obtained by artificial intelligence through association? Impossible. Have system supervision capabilities and divergent thinking troubleshooting capabilities been developed to this extent? And the assistant clearly understood the internal instructions before conveying them. She understood it and expressed it in her own language. This is also not a level that an intelligent assistant can achieve. The more she looked at it, the more she felt that the system and the assistant were both human beings. Tao Ran glanced at his screen. The system message that had just been sent out, and the string of common sayings in the middle, had all been blocked. So the message she sent became, Vice Captain, 3-1-2. You guys are too nervous. I'm so subtle that the other person can't tell, Tao Ran murmured. I was just kidding. Sister, the assistant kicked me again. If it weren't for the fact that you spoke in a vague way and didn't give a straightforward answer, you would have suffered more and be punished this time. Sister, there is a system message, please check it. Taoran clicked it. It turned out to be a yellow card. She was warned. For the first time, it was just a lightning strike. If she accumulates another yellow card, she will be eliminated with an immediate red card. In addition, she was fined another 1,000 points as punishment. Okay, now she only has more than 8,000 points. If I had just upgraded my assistant, wouldn't I be reduced to a pauper now? Assistant, what will happen if you don't get enough points, which means you explode? Eliminate directly. Tisk, it's a shame that I didn't upgrade, so let's save some points first. Just as I was about to turn off the display, another message came. The deputy captain asked the captain, what does 312 mean? What does it mean? Taoran didn't want to talk to him. It means the captain has been cheated. She didn't go back and went directly to level 55. This time it was finally no longer a game in the underworld, but a clear level. Before, it almost suffocated her to death. This is still an easy level. Tongue twisters. Well, a folkloric gem. The game is very interesting. Players use the accuracy of tongue twisters to win time in many games. The better the tongue twisters are, the greater the chance of success. As an actor, speaking lines is a basic skill. Although Taoran never went to a professional school, he learned and practiced his lines from a teacher. So although this level was not easy, she still passed it easily. The next level is guessing. Guess 6 riddles in 100 seconds. Done, go straight to the next level. Unable to guess, the time is shortened by 5 seconds and a new round continues. There are 5 opportunities. If the time is shortened to 75 seconds and the round is not completed, the player will lose a straight level or re-challenge after being fined 500 points. Taoran is okay in this regard. In the third challenge, she finally passed. She came to the 57th floor. I was still a little secretly proud of myself, but these levels were very easy. But I never expected that I was dumbfounded again. This level is a test of arithmetic. Well, mental arithmetic or abacus. She doesn't know how to do it and can only do calculations in writing. This painful test can be described as a heavy loss. It took Taoran a full 4.5 hours, he challenged it many times, he was fined 2,000 points, and he failed once before trying again, and finally passed. She was once again glad that she had not upgraded to assistant before, otherwise she would have been eliminated by now. She had less than 7,000 points left. Reached level 58. It's playing hide and seek with the robot. If you lose, you have to activate the penalty roulette. This level was his strong point, and Taoran passed it smoothly. Level 59 is still a mini-game. It is a folk classic game, Wooden Man. Or an upgraded version. Move forward before the robot turns back every time, get the timer on the robot's neck, avoid the robot's electric current attack every half second, and press the button on the timer to be successful. If you are caught by the robot while taking action, you will be punished by laser and will be dropped to the previous level. Taoran relied on his skills to finally get out of this level smoothly. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 909. Taoran was about to enter the resting level again. The hallucinations on the resting floor were getting more and more powerful, catching her weak spots more and more every time. Taoran had to be cautious about this. So when she reached the 60th floor, she didn't rush inside. Instead, she sat cross-legged on the platform. She first practiced her mental strength. Before I finished practicing the mental method once, I heard a message prompt. 5 seconds later, another one. 10 seconds later, another one. Taoran couldn't help it and opened the message bar. Then she lost her teeth. I thought it was a system message, but I didn't expect it to be a message from the World Channel. Another person used the world speaker. A guy who called himself Silly Han Han asked, "Captain, what do you mean by what you said to the vice captain? What is 312? Taoran probably guessed that this guy was Idiot George. Then there was a reply below from someone who claimed to be the Lion King. "Nonsense, what are you asking? Don't you understand this? Vice Captain, 312 means Vice Captain, I want you. You are the only one who talks a lot. Needless to say, there is no one else but Huang Mao for such a talkative person and such a title." Taoran's fist clicked. Just as she was about to give a warning, someone else responded. A guy named Eagle said, "Huang Mao, you are so brave. Your skin is itchy. Aren't you afraid of being beaten?" "Huang Mao, I'm not talking nonsense. The captain told me before that he would go to 55 first. The deputy captain responded immediately, and the captain said 312. The captain was embarrassed to say it clearly, so he could only use the code name. 12 I want you to come, I want you to accompany me, I want to be with you, everyone can experience it by themselves. The captain is showing love and coquettishness to the vice captain, urging him to hurry up. On a public platform, you and I say each other's words as if there is no one else around. Isn't this just a show of affection?" A guy named Tiger also came. "I have long felt that something was wrong with those two. From the first time I and Ying met them, the two of them had been flirting with each other. At that time, there must have been something between the two of them. Is it an eagle? Coy girl, don't talk nonsense." The vice captain came to the game just to find out the whereabouts of his girlfriend. He has deep love for his girlfriend, and he is not that kind of person. The captain is even less so. This one is obviously Xiaoan. "Huang Mao, it's a love triangle. Because it's a sadomasochistic relationship, the captain has a mental burden, so he can't openly express his feelings. Hey, the vice captain is so lucky. Captain, don't worry, we will always be by your side and cheer you on. Barabara." Taoran was already speechless. These guys directly use the World Channel as a chat group. Why are they gossiping more than each other? Isn't the level difficult? Hey, the main reason is that everyone has upgraded the little assistant several levels in one breath. Who doesn't have a few world speakers now? Even Zhou Chang, who was in the terrifying level, spoke up, "Captain, are you really telling me? 312, is that what Huang Mao meant?" Taoran was suffocating to death. Who are these people? She couldn't explain it, and the chat box wasn't convenient for explaining. Taoran, a bunch of idiots. Don't force yourself if you can't use your pig brain. Don't worry, princess, I have a high vision, and ordinary people can't be my partner. So I will never fall in love with any of you. Who wants to talk nonsense anymore? Just be prepared not to meet me again in the future. Otherwise, you will be responsible for the consequences. After saying this angrily, Taoran directly entered the rest area on the 60th floor. The last illusion was about Granny Hua, so Taoran was originally worried that this illusion would attack the people around her again. She never expected that this time, she would walk into a space where birds were singing, flowers were fragrant, pavilions and pavilions made people feel happy and relaxed. Taoran, who was tired, loved the delicious food, fine wine, and the paradise-like scenery. She took 2 bites of the long-lost food and lay down directly. The gentle breeze makes people sleepy. Beautiful music began to play, and in the distant mist, a group of people were playing musical instruments. Still playing live. "What else would you like to eat, Your Highness?" a pleasant male voice asked in my ear. No need. Have you dreamed of becoming a princess? If I could be a princess, I would be happy just lying there doing nothing every day. May I pour a glass of wine for your highness? Ken. The aroma of wine lingered in his nose, and Chaoran opened his eyes slightly. What caught her eye was an unparalleled handsome face, half kneeling beside her, holding a jade cup. This guy is so good looking. She has white teeth, red lips, and a handsome face. She is prettier than the young actors, movie stars, and handsome uncles she has worked with in the real world. Look at those watery eyes begging for favor. It's a pity, I'm not interested. Too much coward and too spineless. Chaoran waved his hand, signaling for him to leave. Your Highness, will I perform a sword dance for you? The voice that spoke this time was low and magnetic. Chaoran opened his eyes again. Tisk, I changed my style this time. Wearing armor in front of him, he looked like a general, with sword-like eyebrows and starry eyes, broad shoulders and narrow waist, and a heroic spirit. Ken. The general performed a series of somersaults and a 720-degree turn. His posture was vigorous and heroic, completely opposite to the previous one. A sword was dazzled and airtight by him. Stop, 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 Chaoran suddenly felt bored again. Why are you learning martial arts? No matter why you are learning martial arts, you are not using it to show off. Chaoran was a warrior himself and couldn't stand these fancy moves. Ask yourself, what else can this wonderful set of swordsmanship do besides look good? Are you learning martial arts just to please others? There are loopholes everywhere. If I wanted to kill you, you would have died several times just now. What a shame. This is a disgrace to a warrior. Get out of here. Men are annoying to look at, so they might as well have a glass of wine. Chao Rangjang drank another glass of wine and heard another voice in his ear, Your Highness, please don't be angry. Today is a great day for the draft. How about I ask the talented candidates to come and pay your respects to Your Highness? Ken. 2 minutes later, Chaoran suddenly wanted to laugh. Kneeling in front of her were dozens of Ying Ying Yan Yan. They are all handsome men, each with his own characteristics and style. Delicate, elegant, sickly, arrogant, middle class, silly, wooden, foreign, alien. Although Chaoran didn't mean it, it didn't stop her from feeling curious and fun. However, her novelty came and went as quickly as a tornado. The moment all these beauties gathered around her, charging at her and stretching out their hands, she became tired of it. So boring. Go away. Whoever dares to touch me will chop off your hands. At this time, the voice in her ears sounded again, telling her not to be angry and fanning her. Your Highness doesn't like all these beauties. In that case, what do you think of your subordinates? Only then did Chaoran feel that the voice sounded familiar. She turned her head and spit out a mouthful of wine. Zhou Chang. This sissy who kept talking behind her ear, passing the cup, and pressing her shoulders was not a eunuch, but Zhou Chang. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 910. Chaoran squirted out a mouthful of wine, and Zhou Chang handed out the handkerchief like a pug, while laughing again and again. I know that the princess has been mine for a long time, but I'm still embarrassed to say it. In fact, I also like the princess. Zhou Chang's face turned red visibly. These days, you and I have gone through life and death crises hand in hand. What else can stop our love? From now on, we will be together. Zhou Chang's face is getting closer and closer. Although he is indeed good looking, and although Chaoran is very fond of him, in her eyes, he is just a comrade and brother, nothing else. Feeling tired for a while, Chaoran slapped him away. Roll. She stood up quickly. Pooh. Love and love are not as attractive to her as a glass of wine. The moment she saw Zhou Chang, Taoran was half awakened by fright. Her brother was going to kiss her, how could she not be frightened? But now, she was completely awake. At this moment, the illusion was shattered. Taoran, who was standing on the 60th floor platform, burst out laughing. What a hit! She got it? Unexpectedly, the system was also deceived. To be precise, the system was taken astray. Her behavior and chat content were captured by the system before, and she walked into the rest area with resentment and a dislike mentality, so maybe the system thought that she was really in love or had a desire in her heart. Love, so I used the princess she repeatedly emphasized as her identity, gave her a group of beautiful men, and a fantasy where Zhou Chang was the killer. I have to say that this illusion is quite confusing. Being powerful and beautiful is what many people pursue. If she was really interested in Zhou Chang, she would probably fall in love with him in the fantasy world or something. Unfortunately, Taoran was not interested in any man, not just Zhou Chang. As long as she has that kind of mentality, this fantasy will not be that simple. Perhaps in the eyes of the system, people have 7 emotions and 6 desires, and they always think about love. But, she was not in good health and was not qualified to talk about love, so she never fantasized about finding a man. Therefore, the gossip and rumors just now helped her get through this easily. Unfortunately, Zhou Chang's mean smile just now is really fresh in people's memory. How will she face Zhou Chang in the future? It's a pity. If the image just now could be captured, it would definitely be a good material and handle. Taoran turned on the screen again. Before entering the 60 fantasy land, she turned off the sound. When I look at it now, I am shocked. There are a bunch of chat records in the World Channel. After she threatened the bad friends, they changed the subject and revealed their locations. The one closest to her should be Tiger, he is almost on the 50th floor. Everyone else is also on the 40+ floor. As for the remaining speakers, they were all unknown to Taoran. It's other players in the game. Some are scolding them, saying that they are too noisy and the beeps keep ringing, which affects them. Some ask them to continue chatting, saying that they were going through a scary level, and thanks to them keeping talking, they were no longer so panicked. There are also people who are complaining about their own levels, complaining about certain problems and loopholes in the game, making suggestions and asking questions directly to the system. Some were even more inspired by Taoran and the others, and began to contact each other with their teammates who had previously entered the level together. For a while, the chat area was a little lively. The system probably didn't expect that the world speaker would be used in various ways by these people, and it would also cause everyone to have a hot chat at the same time, making the entire serious and tense game atmosphere full of life and death challenges begin to lean towards a relaxed tea party. As a result, the system suddenly released a bold red world message, immediately shutting up all the players who were chatting and having fun watching the World Channel. A player has upgraded his assistant to level 8. From now on, all players with assistants below level 3 will be eliminated. Probably feeling that this one was not stressful enough, 10 seconds later, the system issued another message. 3 players have exceeded the 65th floor, and the elimination mechanism has been activated again. The ascending channel to the 35th floor will be closed immediately, and all players below the 35th floor will be eliminated immediately. Players are requested to continue their efforts and work hard to rise. When these 2 items came out, everyone fell silent. Someone can actually run so fast. It hasn't been long since the last time we were eliminated by layer across the board. Last time, not many people cared. Because all the players at the end are cut off. But this time, it can be seen from the chat just now that most of the players are still in the 30-50 level, so this knife has already cut into the players in the middle. If we don't work hard, everyone may end up being abandoned. The system probably felt that it was not enough, so it added 3 more rules a minute later. 1. Each person can only use the world speaker once per day. This ensures that the chat cannot proceed. 2. Each 2 world speakers can be exchanged for a directional speaker, which can be directed to any player and send messages according to the number played. This is equivalent to starting an expensive private chat. This will not affect the channel environment. 3. World speakers can be redeemed for points at the assistant, and each speaker can be exchanged for 300 points. People are willing to chat because the speakers are free and there is no other use. Now that chatting costs money, people will naturally keep their mouths shut. Isn't it nice to exchange coins? At least you can buy water and supplies. Therefore, the bustling information area once again returned to its deserted state. Not to mention other people, Taoran was also nervous now. She just saw someone claiming to be on the 64th floor in the chat, asking other players to hurry over. She was already at least 5 levels behind the fastest player, so she had to cheer up. Climbing up the stairs, Taoran began her 60+ adventure. In the previous 5-character layer, she was not seen alive. I hope that on the 6-character level, things from the underworld won't appear again. On the 61st floor, Taoran was shocked as soon as he entered. This fantasy scene is a huge coliseum. It's very realistic. There are actually enthusiastic audiences. As soon as she entered, there were thunderous shouts all around her. The rules are simple: be the last one standing. Failure will trigger the penalty roulette, with a 1/4 chance of being eliminated. When the game started, the 4 gates in the southeast, northwest, and northwest opened at the same time, and then 4 extremely ferocious bullfights rushed out towards her. 1v4. It's a killing. Taoran took the long sword and easily passed this level. In a blink of an eye, she was already on the 62nd floor. It's still the Colosseum. Still an avid audience. A referee rushed up to her and told her that because of her performance in the previous level, she would get a chance to further conquer the hearts of the audience. After winning this time, she will get a huge reward. The punishment is also the same as the previous level. Only this time, the beast she had to fight was much more ferocious than in the previous level. Well, there are a lot of them. Wild boars, bison, lions, tigers, cheetahs, wild elephants, brown bears, wolves, 10 in total. Moreover, 10 ferocious beasts were released almost at the same time, with a clear target, and started chasing Taoran directly. The slogan shouted by the host turned out to be Beauty and the Beast. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 911. The Battle Between Man and Beast. Taoran's martial arts skills were on display, and it was difficult for this kind of unstructured force attack to cause any substantial harm to her. It took almost 6 minutes for the beast to fall to the ground. It's a little bloody, but fortunately it's all an illusion. Taoran won and only suffered some superficial injuries. The so-called huge reward is just 500 points. That's all. Taoran was brought to the cage where all gladiators should go. She was given a meal, a piece of stiff bread and a jug of cold water. Just as she was about to be put into the cage, someone called her to stop. She didn't expect that there was a plot to this. A noble-looking man came and looked her over from top to bottom, then nodded and asked her to come out. You just did a great job. The man handed over a piece of paper. It turned out that the mayor issued an announcement and was recruiting warriors. But the mayor never found a suitable candidate. No, his subordinates can only choose the bravest, strongest, most powerful, and most resourceful people from the lowest strata of society, fighters without freedom. Now Taoran was spotted by the mayor's recruiter because of his performance in the arena, so he got a chance. So Taoran now got a recruitment order. As long as she is willing to serve the mayor, she can be free. If she can complete the mayor's task, she will not only become an honorary citizen, but also receive a huge reward. So, girl, Are you willing to accept this opportunity that can help you escape from your current predicament and regain your life? May I know what I have to do? You'll find out soon enough. All you have to do is tell me, are you willing to accept the opportunity? I do, of course I do. What's your name? My name is Ran. Ran, it sounds too weak, just be a princess, but here, let's give it a new name. Call me Otherwise. Okay, Otherwise, girl, congratulations, you are now a free man. Please come with me. She was taken into a Baroque building. When going upstairs, Tao Ran saw the sign on the 63rd floor. She was asked to change her clothes. Afterwards, she was brought to a large group of nobles. The status of this group of people is obviously much higher than that of the previous group of Colosseum spectators. Holding silver wine glasses, they sat on the leather sofas, looked at the group of people including Tao Ran, and then chose the one with the right eye to place their bets. Place a bet? Are you recruiting warriors just for gambling? Tao Ran carefully observed the other people standing in a row with her and found that they were not real people, but NPCs. She was told that a battle selection would be held next. The rules of the game released by the system have also come out. Same as the first two levels, gladiatorial combat. You still have to survive until the end to pass. It's just that the target has been changed from beasts to NPCs. If you fail, you will go straight to level 61 and start again. As for the arena, Tao Ran took a look and realized, hexagonal arena. In her eyes, isn't this the arena she's best at? It seems that the name was chosen well this time. Otherwise, Tao is the king of the ring. A group of nobles began to place bets one after another. As expected, no one was optimistic about Tao Ran betting on her to win. Tao Ran glanced at the group of nobles, and finally locked his eyes on a man in black clothes and a black hat. This person's outfit is incompatible with the others. Isn't it too weird? And Tao Ran felt that his aura was stronger than others. Just like the protagonist and the supporting actor, the light on them is different. Although she doesn't think this person looks like the protagonist, he is probably a supporting character and an important NPC. Before the magistrate called for the start, Tao Ran stood up. Wait a minute. No one is considering taking me into custody, she said suddenly. It's not that she's full, nor is she trying to gain some reputation, but she simply wants to try and see if she can make some profit. If the NPC in this plot is special, it must be to serve the plot. So will this place be like the fairy tale world, with branch lines in the plot? Will there be hidden tasks? Will the favorability of each NPC be brushable? Can each story be developed and changed? In the fairy tale world, she has benefited a lot and accumulated huge advantages. Although she is making up for her lagging behind in the scientific world, she is still several levels behind the fastest players. So she wanted to try and see if she could find a shortcut to overtake again. In addition, just as she once again adhered to her original plan and stole the spotlight, she could always earn some extra points by doing more things. Sure enough, Tao Ran's words immediately attracted huge attention. The group of nobles began to laugh. It's ridiculous enough that a woman is here, but she is also a beautiful and stupid woman who has no self-awareness. Why do you think you can defeat other warriors? Have you seen the muscles of these warriors? Have you seen their burly bodies? They are almost as big as you two, and they can crush you with just a move of their fingers. Yes, if we bet on you, wouldn't we definitely lose? Why should we do this? Tao Ran glanced at the group of warriors around her who were about to fight with her, but no, they all had the figure of a fighter and the size of a wrestler, and she just didn't fit in among them. But, good news. These NPCs ignored her. Obviously, the NPC here has independent thoughts, which shows that her judgment is correct. The plot here is definitely developable. As soon as she mastered her acting skills, she put away her previous aura. She looked aggrieved and pitiful. She formed a more sharp contrast with the big and round warriors around her, and she looked like a weak and incompetent little rabbit. Then I. Her eyes were red and she looked like she was about to cry. Am I the least favored now? Yes. Girl, everyone thinks you will lose. I'm not afraid of losing, but I can't lose without dignity. Can I bet on myself to win? Taoran's voice was trembling. Are these people betting on gladiatorial games here just for fun? Then she would contribute some fun. Everyone laughed. Do you have money? What do you pledge? As soon as Taoran's eyelids closed, 2 lines of tears fell down. A nobleman took out 2 gold coins and said, as a gentleman, how can you watch a girl cry? How can you make a girl lose face? These 2 coins are my reward for the girl. You can take it yourself or take it. Taoran was very grateful. After thanking her, she fixed her eyes on the other gentleman with her babbling eyes. If they belonged to a gentleman, they would pay her as soon as possible. Others thought it was quite interesting, and for the sake of their own dignity, they also took out the gold and silver coins and threw them to Taoran. We are all nobles and gentlemen and cannot fall behind others. Anyway, in their hearts, this girl always loses. These gold and silver coins bet on her, and eventually they are thrown into the gambling pool, and finally fall into the hands of the winner. So it doesn't matter. Taoran grasped their mentality, so he easily collected 8 gold coins and more than 30 silver coins. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 912. Taoran just got a lot of money with nothing. But she was still frowning. There are too few coins. So, she unexpectedly said again. I want to put my freedom on the line. If I lose, I'll go with you. The rules of this gladiatorial fight in the plot do not involve life and death, as long as the target is knocked down. I sold my freedom and bet that I would win. Are there any gentlemen willing to buy my freedom? If I lose, you can take me away. If I win, you will support me by buying my money. If you want to play, play big. Are you sure? All the nobles were shocked. Is this girl a better gambler than these guys? Just put yourself on the line? It took a lot of effort for you to get free and you just got free. Yes, sure. I have no father, no mother, no worries, and only my life and freedom are valuable when I come and go. If I lose, I am willing to be a cow or a horse. Wow, the gentleman immediately became excited. Human rights are awakening, freedom is precious, and even the lower class are beginning to know how to protect their freedom and lives. Because of this, it becomes increasingly difficult for them to find real warriors. Now there are people who are willing to sell their freedom, and of course they are willing to pay. What's more, she is a beautiful as a flower, a girl who is capable of fighting and survived in the gladiatorial arena. You can work as a maid or as a bodyguard to protect the family. If it doesn't work out, just buy it and use it as a vase. For a time, everyone became excited. Unknowingly and inexplicably, Taoran encouraged everyone to start bidding, or should we say it was an auction. As Taoran expected, everyone was here to have fun. In a certain sense, the sense of participation in bidding for a girl's freedom is stronger than fighting. The atmosphere was very lively and everyone was quite happy. Taoran cheered and even performed a talent by turning the wine bottle with his fingers to pour wine for everyone. She won a lot of money, and the place was extremely hot. Even the gentleman who had no intention of bidding before was a little tempted. If this girl comes back, even if she is responsible for showing off at every banquet, it will be both face-saving and fun. As long as you sign the contract, you can resell it later, this is a sure profit. Could she really win the gladiatorial battle? As a result, the competition began to become fierce, and everyone's bids gradually changed from silver coins to gold coins. In the end, Chaoran successfully sold his freedom temporarily for 50 gold coins and bet it on himself. And a system message she had been waiting for had arrived. If you successfully gain the favor of more than 30 NPCs in this level at one time, your luck will increase by 2%. Gratitude. Finally, the energy and words of the past half hour were not wasted. Next, it's time to compete. A total of 15 warriors were thrown directly into the hexagonal field. The fighting style is simple and crude. It's just a big melee. Being thrown off the field counts as a loss. If the key point is controlled, you will lose. If you surrender on your own initiative, you will be considered a loser. There are no other specific rules. In short, the warrior standing at the end is the winner. As soon as Chaoran came on stage, he tried his best to minimize his presence. The other 14 people are all NPCs, and they all capture opponents randomly, so the smaller her presence is, the lower the chance of being targeted. Her judgment is very accurate. She leaned directly against the flag in the corner and squatted on the ground. So in the first 3 minutes, no one came to attack her. But Chaoran locked several powerful NPCs on the field. Those few are all like mini-bosses, each with their own specialties. She basically already knows how to deal with it if it happens later. By the time Chaoran was locked and had to participate in the fight, there were only 11 people left on the field. She didn't fight, she just ran away. With Black Cat's skills and Qinggong, no one could catch her. She didn't start taking action until there were only 8 people left on the field. Afraid of becoming the target of public criticism, she has always been very conservative, almost always using sneak attacks, counterattacks, or exploiting the opponent's loopholes to eliminate people. When there were only 5 people left on the field, the nobles who had been excited all began to become silent. Did they find that they seemed to have thought wrong? That girl seems to have just finished warming up now. It seems that the more you fight, the braver you become, and is it too brave? They looked at the betting table, and everyone's expressions began to look less beautiful. Otherwise, the girl bet a total of 66 gold coins and 30 silver coins on herself. With this amount, based on her high odds of losing 10-1, it would be enough to clear the entire table and take away all their gold and silver coins. Oh my God! The gentlemen all put down their wine glasses, stood up, and came to the edge of the arena. They clenched their fists and began to cheer, hoping that otherwise the girl would not win. Chaoran looked at them nervously and smiled. Forget it, since people paid the money, she still had to be more dedicated. At this time, there were only 4 people left on the field. Chaoran gave a wonderful fight. She was light and agile, walking like a ghost on the court. She delayed for another 5 minutes and staged a series of performative somersaults of her legs and feet, creating several thrilling scenes. All the foreigners watching could only say wow. In the end, she became the only one to walk off the ring standing, and the only one to win the bet. After leaving 10 gold coins to the dealer, all the gold coins on the table became hers. Chaoran tied a knot with the 4 corners of the tablecloth, packed a baggage, and carried it on his back. She, Chaoran, had become a rich woman on this floor. In a great mood. I just don't know if the coins in the game can be exchanged for points. The recruiting officer came forward and Chaoran was taken away again. Although several of those gentlemen stretched out their hands, wanting to speak and stop her, missing the gold coins in her backpack, they had nothing to say and did not dare to stop them. They could only watch her leave. Another set of stairs. Arrived at the 64th floor. Chaoran didn't hear any sound from the system until he walked in. Sorry. It seems that these gold coins are useless. She didn't give up, and when she was asked to change clothes, she specifically asked her assistant about it. Sister, These gold coins are the same as the jewelry you got in the Pomegranate Kingdom. They are useless and cannot be taken away. Can gold coins be exchanged for points? I don't have such an exchange function here. I'm afraid, sister, all your efforts are in vain. Really, no. Tao Ran changed his clothes and went to a room. This time, the person standing in front of her was the man in black clothes and black hat. It turns out he is the mayor. Tao Ran also began to wonder, what kind of mission is it that requires the mayor to personally select the warriors and keep an eye on it? The little girl has good abilities, his words were praising, but his tone was flat. There is no doubt about my ability. Tao Ran was completely different from Gang Gang. The little rabbit's aura disappeared, and it became strong, tough, and capable. Nonsense, the performance of spending time with clients and meeting the boss to apply for a job will definitely be different. The mayor looked at her twice and was obviously curious about her. Applicants, in addition to expressing their abilities, must also express their attitude, interest, and sincerity in applying for the position of the company. So, Tao Ran donated the burden of the tablecloth. This was her sincerity. She had already thought about it. Although money is not everything, it will be valuable in any world. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 913. Tao Ran had already made a plan. How could she let her efforts go to waste so easily? As I said before, I have no father, no mother, no worries, and I don't need gold or silver. Winning these is an affirmation of my ability and dignity. You gave me the opportunity and freedom, then these gold and silver are my repayments to you. Thank you. The mayor looked at the baggage in disbelief. Free exchange of tasks is an exchange of equal value and a job. Is she still here to give money? Is this person too stupid, or is his level too high? Or maybe I am too vulgar to understand. Tao Ran, it is my obligation and honor to repay the people who appreciate me and the society that helps me. What does this little gold and silver mean? I am willing to do the best. My money and people are all in your hands. Well, she only needs to wait for a favorability bonus, and there is no use keeping the gold and silver anyway. The mayor unpacked the bag. The gleaming wealth inside made his eyes freeze for a second. With so many gold and silver coins, you can buy a house in the city and live happily for 20 years without worrying about food and drink. This girl is so noble. Tao Ran said again, you can handle these gold and silver at your own discretion. She smiled sincerely. The implication is that you can keep it for yourself or leave it to society. She didn't care. Look how good she is at being a good person. The mayor's face was as cheerful as spring, and he finally came up and hugged Tao Ran. Then the crisp tinkling sound in Tao Ran's ear came as promised. The reward has arrived. She gained the mayor's favorability and received a hug, so her luck increased by 3%. The mayor happily patted her on the shoulder to express his gratitude, and then said that the money would be used to help orphans and widows in her name. Tao Ran naturally agreed. Then, Tao Ran got another buzz. She became the first player in the entire game to donate money to charity. The system commended her for being able to show love even in an illusion, and she received a Medal of Honor. And a reward of 500 points. Tao Ran was happy. Sure enough, if you increase your favorability in the plot, you will definitely not lose money. The mayor asked Tao Ran to follow him. He wanted to take Tao Ran somewhere personally. Tao Ran began to inquire about the mission. Mayor, the next level is not a real task yet, it is still a test of your ability. More tests? How many tests have you taken? Or a gladiatorial fight? Yes. The mayor informed, the mission is very dangerous. The reason why we are setting up many tests for you now is to ensure your safety. If you can break through the next 2 levels, you will understand what I mean later. What? Are there 2 more levels of this similar kind of battle? Of course, Ran's questions were purely out of curiosity. This kind of similar level is 100 times better than testing knowledge and mathematics. She can keep playing until she leaves the tower. The space you entered this time was larger than the previous levels. This time, it was Ran's turn to say wow. She almost thought she had returned to the Qingyun sect in the world of immortal cultivation, when she was Tao Buran. There are several arenas in the huge venue. A real arena. Mayor, the arena battle is 1v1. If you win 5 rounds, you can go to another place. System messages are explained in more detail. Those participating in every arena battle are real players. Each player must defeat at least 5 players to advance to the next level. If you fail to complete it, you will always stay here, waiting for challenges from new players. In short, no matter the means or the choice, you must win 5 times in the ring before you can leave. Ran understood. No wonder in the previous world information area, there was a guy from level 64 shouting for the people behind to hurry up to the tower. It's a shame that they couldn't get 5 wins, so they could only wait for new players to appear and continue the arena battle. As for the determination of winning or losing, there are 2 ways. The first is the manual judgment by the plot NPC, that is, the mayor's staff. The second is the system's judgment that one party is in an absolute disadvantage. If their lives are threatened, player protection measures will be automatically activated and the 2 people in the battle will be forcibly separated. Ran looked around and saw that all 6 arenas were occupied by players. Every player became excited when they saw Ran, a newcomer, appearing outside the venue. They loudly greeted her to have a 1v1 with them. She was about to enter level 64 when she was held back by the mayor. Otherwise, girl, thanks for your contribution to our city, this is for you. What the mayor gave was a token. If you are in trouble and need help, just take out this mayor's order, and our city staff will show up. Ran got the token and saw every NPC beside the arena looking at it. Is this something that summons NPCs for help? Very good. Keep it well. This order can be used twice at most. The mayor left and Ran entered. Sure enough, the players gathered together. With a kind look on his face, he said, "Hello, you can call me Brother Zhong. Let's PK first." A thin man said, "Little sister, fight me first." He coughed twice, indicating that he was in poor health, and Ran had a great chance of winning. A young man who looks less than 20 years old, "Sister, my name is Lele, don't be deceived by them. They have both won 4 times. They only have one last victory left to continue climbing to the tower. Don't look at these 2 everywhere." I pretended to be pitiful, but in fact they were very powerful. I was deceived by them, and I was a little softer, and ended up falling into their trap. He said with a fierce look, "Little girl, let's go first," he said with a fierce threat, exposing his big muscles. The woman in her 10s and 30s sneered, "Little sister, I, Sun Yang, will win in one fell swoop. Why don't you fight with me first? You don't know, these men have just made a bet to see who can persuade them to come forward players and themselves fight first. No matter who you choose, you are giving others an advantage. They are all women, so don't give this advantage to these men." As soon as the woman finished saying this, several men immediately scolded and cursed. Ran smiled, "What are they betting on?" "Woman, of course it's supplies. The amount is quite large." Ran hugged his chest, "So, now I have become the key to winning or losing your bet. And you think I will lose, so I also decide who of you can go straight to the next level, and who can get a lead." Ran simply sat down. "I'm new here, and you are all so enthusiastic. I can't offend anyone. What should I do? How about using a fair method to decide who I fight first? Any solution? You see, my role and value are so great, they must be reflected, right? How specific? Where can my value be reflected? Do you want me to see it? Since the people who played with me first have huge benefits, what if is it unjustifiable to have empty hands? Now, everyone understood. This is about benefits and sharing. They have been waiting for a long time. 3 of them are only 1 win away from passing the level, and they are just waiting for the newcomer to win first. This woman is indeed shrewd. Tao ran. And as far as I know, the other players behind me are still far away. After passing my village, it may take a long time to wait for the next store. So you have to take the initiative and express your stance. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 914. Tao Ran had basically made it clear that she wanted to betray her qualifications for the first PK. The one with the highest price gets it, she said bluntly. According to the rules, as soon as 2 people enter the ring, the competition will automatically start. Now she can choose all the people in this space, so she has autonomy. In other words, which arena she wants to enter is entirely up to her. You all tell me what you can give me. As long as you can impress me, I will compete with you right away. Tao Ran glanced at the woman who looked at the men with a sarcastic face. Thank you Sunyang for letting me know the information. You are now my first candidate. They are all women, why are you so polite? Sunyang raised her eyebrows. Since my sister is so polite, I will offer some advice. In this way, if my sister chooses me, I will provide a set of protective clothing and 2 bottles of medicine to see if we sisters have a chance to communicate first. This Sunyang was a smart person and understood Tao Ran's instructions immediately. This is asking her to act as a trustee to raise the price. If it works, they will compete with each other, but if they don't succeed, it will seriously weaken the strength of these men. Just right to her taste. Tao Ran nodded, thank you Sunyang, sister, I will note it down, I will live up to Sunyang's generosity, she has always known how to repay kindness. Several men watched the 2 women singing along. Although they were very angry, they had nothing to say and could only start to consider the price they should pay. The young man named Lele was probably really tricked by the loyal brother and the weak man. At this time, he was the first to participate. I also want to compete with the other girl. Then I am based on Sunyang. Come on, bring me an extra piece of chocolate and 2 bottles of anti-inflammatory medicine. After that, he sneered at brother Zhong and the 2. That's how the bidding begins. 3 of these 5 people were only 1 win away from leaving, and they all wanted to seize the opportunity to get the upper hand. Now they had no choice but to start their own fight. Tao Ran then remembered that when he first entered the venue, there were already 6 players here. Why were there only 5 players there now? Where did the other person go? Tao Ran started looking. Then I saw someone sleeping in a corner. Seeing this, Sunyang snorted again, hey, this guy was so lively just now, why is he pretending to be dead now? He was the one who provoked the gamble in the first place. Hey! Skinny guy! Seeing that the man didn't respond, Sunyang walked over to the man and kicked him. There's a newcomer, get up. But the man said, get lost, and then continued to cover his head with clothes. Tao Ran clearly heard the vicious get out. This man was too weird, wasn't he? She stepped forward. Looking at the man's exposed shoes, they look familiar. Tao Ran started to sneer. Although this man had his head covered, he looked even more familiar with his figure and shape. Having a guess, she stretched out her hand to pull the coat around his head, but he refused to let go and even kicked him out. There is no 300 taels of silver here, who else could it be besides that person? Tao Ran, you thief! Are you shameless? Seeing that he was discovered, the man had no choice but to take off his clothes. Isn't this person number 266? The thief who stole Tao Ran's bag full of medicine and supplies. Originally, Tao Ran thought that with the help of the Dragon Mother and the Spider Spirit, Number 266 might have been eliminated, so following the assistant's suggestion, Taoran appealed to the system to get her bag back. But every appeal failed. Therefore, she concluded that this person was still in the game and had not been eliminated yet. Unexpectedly, this guy ran quite fast, faster than her. "We meet on a narrow road, why are you hiding? The debt must be settled eventually." Taoran screwed up his teeth. She would never take this guy lightly. Number 266 also stood up. "I don't know what you are talking about. Give me my bag, then," she might be merciful. "How would I know about your bag?" The man spread his hands and gestured to the bag he threw on the ground. "This is the only bag I have. Is this yours?" Number 266 had a sarcastic face. The bag snatching happened almost 50 years ago. As long as he doesn't admit it, what evidence is there? That bag had been destroyed by him a long time ago, and the supplies had been used long ago. Nothing on him now has anything to do with this woman. Taoran nodded. "If you don't admit it, that's fine. Let's see. Don't regret it?" "How?" "His mission at this level has not been completed, so he still has the ability to escape with his wings." Taoran no longer cared about him, but he already had a plan in mind. She returned to the group of people again and quickly sold out her first battle. The first one, named Brother Zhong, said that if he got this opportunity, he would give everything he won in the bet to Taoran, and he would not take any of it himself. What he pointed at were 10 bottles of water, 10 biscuits, 10 boxes of various medicines and some tools in the middle of the field, enough to fill an oversized hiking bag. This is what 5 men made up for this gamble. Of all bets? Sunyang helped confirm and nodded. "That's right. That's you." Taoran nodded and confirmed, "I'll play with you first." In this way, the winner of the men's bet is Brother Zhong. The pile of prizes became Taoran. Taoran asked Sunyang to help her move these things to the NPC's feet and let them take a look at them first. Several men gritted their teeth again. "This woman is so good. I originally thought that the woman would have no place to store such a large batch of supplies." After the two of them entered the ring, they took back the materials they had bet on without anyone noticing. But who would have thought that the woman would come up with such a move? The NPC is the mayor's employee, and when it comes to the plot of the subsequent levels, they don't dare to cause trouble and offend. The whispers among the men soon ceased. Their attention was drawn to the ring. "I thought that Brother Zhong could easily win over this woman, but I didn't expect that it would not be easy." The fight had lasted 10 minutes, and Brother Zhong's advantage was gradually disappearing. This woman was stronger than they thought. But they didn't know that Taoran played very conservatively, even using only 30 to 40% of his ability. In actual combat in the ring, she had too much fun in various worlds. As far as her fighting skills in the ring are concerned, even without bonuses, she is definitely the best in the entire game. But she didn't want to reveal her strength. Because it is profitable. So in this round, she used a lot of patience, and it took more than a quarter of an hour to beat Brother Zhong to the ground. The men were silent for a moment. Especially Brother Zhong. He was depressed. So, why did he come forward and agree to buy all the supplies for this fight? Does this count as losing his wife and losing his troops now? This woman won her first victory at a free advantage. He was unhappy and unhappy. Besides him, there were also people who were dissatisfied. The thin man jumped out, his fingers pointed. "I want to challenge you." Taoran ignored him. "I want to talk to Sunyang first, and then fight with Sunyang. As for you, let's talk later." "Say more?" The thin man gritted his back teeth and said, "Fight me first, and I'll give you 200 more points in supplies." Taoran breathed out his anger. "What? I look like someone who can impress with just 200 points. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 915. Tao Ran directly pulled Sun Yang to the NPC's feet, brought her water and biscuits, and motioned for her to sit down and talk, as if she wanted to chat. The thin man followed anyway. He was anxious. I don't know when the next time a new person will come to this level. Will he have to wait here for this woman who calls him something else? What a waste of time. Moreover, his fighting skills were better than Brother Zhong's. Brother Zhong had clearly underestimated the enemy just now, which was why this woman took advantage of him. He carefully observed the woman's moves, but there were only a few moves after playing for a long time, over and over again. Afraid of wool. In addition, this woman had been fighting for more than a quarter of an hour, and she was obviously very tired. Look at her, she kept shaking her hands, and her fists were soft. He wants to make sure he wins, and now is the perfect time. So the thin man changed his words again. If you compete with me now, I will give you 500 points in supplies. Spending some points to end this level quickly is the right thing to do. 800, Tao Ran saw the other two men coming over, so he answered simply. 600 at most. But where are the supplies? Take them out first. Tao Ran stretched out his hand. I have to pick out the supplies. Do you agree? It's a deal. Soon, Tao Ran had a complete set of protective equipment worth 800 points. She was always clear about settling accounts and didn't ask for too much, and she let the thin man pick out 200 points worth of things from the supplies in front of the NPC. Tao Ran's second PK began. This time, the actor's sense of belief and acting skills were once again brought into play by her. Not long after the ring battle began, she was out of breath and exhausted to the point where her hands and feet were weak. Several times, she was almost hurt by a thin man who was obviously a practicing master and was very tricky with every move. This guy is really not that simple. Tao Ran used 70% of his strength and spent nearly half an hour to finally defeat the thin man. After the PK, like the thin man, she lay in the ring for a long time and couldn't get up. She was so weak that she was finally helped down to the ring by Sun Yang. But at this time, perhaps because Tao Ran's acting skills are so good, some people still don't take her abilities seriously. The thin man was also full of dissatisfaction. Just now, my foot slipped. I was unlucky. Otherwise, I would have won. What a pity. Tao Ran opened his mouth, as if he had no energy left to speak. The fierce man and the man named Lele were already extremely anxious after seeing them being dragged away for another half hour. Seeing that Tao Ran was exhausted, everyone came forward to take advantage of her, vying to be her next opponent. Sun Yang laughed and said, otherwise, my sister will be embarrassed to choose anyone, so you should just bid. It only starts at 300 points. Sun Yang. Tao Ran pulled her away. I can't do it anymore. I want to rest. And if we fight 3 games in a row, I will definitely lose. After that, she took out a tent from her bag and said, excuse me, Sun Yang, give me a ride. Pitch a tent? Are you going to sleep? This is not possible. After all, the two people were led away by the nose, and they began to dig through their baggage to see how much supplies they had, and to see how much was left unused after leaving behind the necessary supplies to break through the barrier. The two of them repeatedly persuaded Tao Ran to fight one more time before resting. Tao Ran reluctantly said, then no matter who fights me, please show mercy and don't hit me too hard. Her tone almost sounded like she was giving up on her own initiative. 3 minutes later, the fierce and confident man exchanged 2 pieces of chocolate and a first aid kit for a chance to fight. And a quarter of an hour later, it was still the fierce man who was lying in the ring without wanting to speak. A fluke or 2 is luck, but a fluke 3 times is definitely strength. The fierce man is the strongest among the 3, and he knows that this woman is not simple. He didn't lose unfairly. When a tired Taoran stepped off the stage, he noticed number 266 in the corner. The guy never made a sound and had no sense of presence. At this moment, Taoran captured the smile on his face. Not happy? According to the current situation, plus Lele and Sun Yang, Taoran, who has already won 3 times, is bound to win 5. Then, that guy 266 can happily send her away. Taoran knew that he was the only one present who had a clear understanding of her strength and that she was number 444. He had personally watched her deal with the Dragon Mother that day. The reason why he hid was because he wanted to avoid a direct confrontation with her. Taoran didn't even give him a look, the debt hadn't been settled, and the interest hadn't been collected yet. He wanted to escape? Let's dream. Lele was a little panicked. He suddenly felt that he might not have much chance of winning. What do you think next? Who will you fight? He stuttered a little. His biggest advantage is that Taoran is tired. But even if he loses, he still has to fight to at least have one more chance. And, Lele has made a calculation. This girl has won 3 times, but there are still 3 players in the field who have not competed with her. If she has the strength to win 5 consecutive games, this means that there will definitely be a chance for one person to fight against her in a row. Nothing. And she will definitely leave a chance for Sun Yang, so only one of him and number 266 can get this opportunity. Lele feels that he still has to fight for it, and the sooner he fights, the safer it will be. Shall I give you a piece of chocolate? Lele reached out and rummaged through the bag. No need. Taoran saw that his bag was half empty, with almost no supplies left. I'm fighting you now, so I don't need supplies. I just want to thank you for reminding me when I came up. I also thank him for helping to raise the price before. Thank you. Lele hugged her fist sincerely. Taoran took a 5-minute break and then Lele came on stage. This time, she did not hide her strength and went straight to the fight, finishing the battle in 5 minutes. Before Lele could react, she pinned her to the ground, unable to resist. 4 wins. 3 of the 4 men in the audience were dumbfounded. Only then did they realize how powerful this woman was. There was another man, number 266, who was laughing and thinking that he had basically avoided the disaster. He was instigating in a strange way, this poisonous woman just cheated you of supplies. What a bunch of idiots. Taoran heard this and couldn't help but smile at number 266. What is she laughing at? Number 266 had a sudden thought in his heart, and began to regret that he shouldn't have babbled blindly. Over there, Taoran was greeting Sun Yang. Come, let's fight. Sun Yang waved her hand. No, I don't want to fight you. You're going to lose anyway, so why humiliate yourself? Moreover, this girl obviously has a grudge against number 266, so it is better to leave this opportunity to her for revenge. Hearing Sun Yang's refusal, number 266 immediately jumped up and ran to the NPC to complain. Can't you refuse? You can only refuse when there is a one-to-many choice, but now that she has been selected, she can't refuse, right? Sun Yang was annoyed and pointed at number 266 and called him a villain. Number 266 sneered coldly, my defeated enemy, hurry up and get on the ring. The NPC also came to Sun Yang and motioned her to come to the ring to accept the PK. Taoran smiled at Sun Yang, punched with 30% of his strength, and lowered his voice, if you don't fight, how do you know you will lose? I'm so tired, how can I win? The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 916. How could Sun Yang not understand this? Her eyes lit up and she instantly understood what this girl meant. Good girl, I'm going to give myself a win. Thanks. Easy to do. How could Taoran let number 266 go? Even if she is outstanding, who says that with 6 opponents present, she will only fight 5 games? No one stipulates that she is not allowed to let go. Taoran has clear grievances. With Sun Yang's help, she naturally has to give something back. What Sun Yang needs most now is to win, so she will give it to you. Sun Yang has already won 2 times. With this victory, the road to advancement will be much easier. So she planned early on how to repay her kindness and how to take revenge. She also had to put number 266 last to deal with. Sun Yang had already understood Taoran's intention and knew that she had made up her mind to give up this round for nothing and leave the other round to deal with the villains in the audience. How could she let go of the chain? How could she fail to live up to her intentions? So Sun Yang tried her best to fight, and the fight was very beautiful. Taoran, on the other hand, was weak and tired and made many mistakes. Her acting skills are there, her regretful expression after falling behind, her stunned expression when she made a mistake, and her admiration for Sun Yang are all very natural, making it impossible for anyone to catch her deliberately letting off steam. Especially the last blow, she took it hard, rolling 720 degrees in the air, and then rolled another 1080 degrees after landing heavily. Sun Yang understood, rolled forward, put her elbow against Taoran's throat, clamped her hand with her elbow, and pressed her leg with her knee. Taoran struggled for several times, then bit his lip and said, "I give up." The NPC came forward to make a judgment. In this round, Sun Yang won. Number 266 cursed loudly. Fart. Blind. This damn woman did it on purpose. Doesn't this mean that he still has to fight this woman? He realized that the inexplicable smile of this woman before was waiting for him here. Number 266 yelled, started to dance, went to the NPC and bared her teeth, saying that the woman number 444 was cheating. To say that she suddenly lost her level is to let her off on purpose. Taoran was puzzled. This player, you were called a villain before. It's really not unjust. Sun Yang and I are honest, how come we are suspected by trash like you? Go try to play 5 games in a row and see if you can you perform at your best. I told Lele before we played that I was exhausted. Why don't you let me lose? Who doesn't want to win? Right. Taoran cursed in his heart, silly X, this game never says you can't let go of water from the beginning to the end, so what if you let it go? Besides, does he have evidence? If there is no evidence, it is just a frame-up. Taoran, are you questioning the dazzling eyes of big brothers? Big brothers, if I lose, and I admit defeat. The NPCs have their own judgments. There are a total of 12 NPCs in the field, and the judgments made again are exactly the same. It is indeed Sun Yang who wins. Number 266 was still dissatisfied and jumped out to argue, but Taoran ran to the NPC leader first. His eyes turned red and he filed a complaint, this person is deliberately making things difficult for me. He obstructed me in every possible way and complained to me, just because he wanted to plot against me. He is just afraid of competing with me. He wants to influence the selection of mayoral talents and obstruct the progress of the task. Brother, let me make the decision. Taoran already has the favorability bonus of strangers, and the NPC's natural impression of her is much better than that of number 266. In addition, she suddenly mentioned mayor, and the NPCs immediately remembered that she was sent by the mayor himself. At this time, the advantage of gaining goodwill came out. These NPC staff were completely on Taoran's side. They stepped forward to warn number 266, emphasizing that what they were conducting now was the task selection of the mayor. The first basic rule for all taskers is to obey. If he dares to make mistakes again, if he dares to cause chaos, if he dares to obstruct again, if he dares to question without reason again, he will be disqualified as a mission. Number 266 grabbed his brown hair and made it into a bird's nest. He's going to be so angry. After going through so many levels, he certainly knows the rights of NPCs in each level. Of course he knows that once a mission has a plot, both the plot and the mission must be completed. He doesn't dare to offend the NPC at all, because the NPC had enough means to deal with him. And being disqualified from the mission means, doesn't it mean elimination? In this way, no matter how unhappy number 266 was, he would not dare to talk nonsense in front of the NPC. He stepped aside, turned on the monitor, and started turning to the system to complain. On Chao Ran's side, he immediately received a complaint message from his assistant. The assistant on the screen said he still had something to say, and then Chao Ran got an inside message. The assistant level of the player who complained about her is higher than hers. In other words, the first and only guy in the entire game to upgrade his assistant to level 8 is number 266. Chao Ran didn't expect this. The anger suddenly rose again. Isn't his assistant's level high? At the beginning, he stole 2,000 points of supplies. He has enough supplies. Can he use all the points to upgrade? And if Chao Ran added this amount of points, he would have promoted his assistant to level 8. And the assistant said before that after level 6, the first player to upgrade at each level will receive the highest upgrade treasure chest reward. After all, it was not just the bag that was stolen from her. Chao Ran was furious here, thinking about how to deal with this guy, and the decision on the complaint over there was also made. The system read the arena replay just now and found no evidence of Chao Ran cheating, so no 266's complaint was dismissed. Number 266 still refused to give up and began to encourage several other players to complain. Players knew best whether it was cheating or not. Chao Ran walked over step by step. If I lose and I'm accused of cheating, then should I also complain to those of you who lost to me? Lele smiled with two tiger teeth. Sister, you are worrying too much. I never thought of complaining about my sister. The loyal brother walked directly to the stairs, making a gesture to see if any newcomers were coming up. The thin man yawned, indicating that he was sleepy. The fierce man was busy applying medicine to the wound where he was beaten. No one has any intention of paying attention to number 266. Naturally, everyone knew what Chao Ran was doing and felt it was unfair. But they saw Chao Ran's coquettish maneuver to win over the NPC, and heard the NPC's protection. In addition, number 266 accidentally revealed that this girl was number 444. In fact, at that moment, they knew that they could not wade in this muddy water. Number 444. Who is not thunderous? The person they had been wondering about for many days was actually a woman. It's actually right in front of you. He is actually such a person, pretending to be a pig and eating the tiger. And they also saw that the thin man obviously knew the strength of number 444, or the two had fought before. The thin man was only one win away from leaving, but he didn't want to fight. And they know slim man's strength, so for him to be so scared means that no 444's level is far above him. It seems that their defeat just now was inevitable, right? Complain against her? For what? Multiple enemies? After the complaint is successful, will you have another fight with number 444? Crazy. Consider them cowards. This woman, some people concluded early on that she was a lunatic. She was the one who killed the NPC protagonist right away. It's best to keep a respectful distance from such people.